lesson number 4. It's homework assignment number 1, the author's timeline. Kids, let's do a quick overview of the pre-Genius Mapping course so far. In lesson number 1, we talked about topic sentences being paramount. What does that mean? That went through a quick overview of how people write passages. Topic sentence is going to be the most important thing usually you find at the top of the paragraph. Below, you're going to have details that support the topic sentence. Those details are directly going to help you understand the personal opinion and give more support to that personal opinion, which we call that topic sentence there. In lesson number 2, we talked about the Scooby-Doo technique. The Scooby-Doo technique says that the author is going to say basically the same thing. They're going to use different vocabulary words throughout the passage to say the same concept. The topic sentence is going to be related back to the details, and the details are going to be related back to the topic sentence. The conclusion will be a restatement at the bottom of the topic sentence. They're going to use different words to say basically the same thing. Then we progressed on to lesson number 3. Lesson number 3, we talked about the good stinky rule. The good stinky rule says positive and negative. Good plus negative, or stinky will be designated with a negative symbol here. When we're in here with the vocabulary words, the author is going to have some hidden meaning that's inside the topic sentence and that's illustrated in the details. If we're trying to figure out what the author's personal opinion is, it's either going to be an opinion that's positive or an opinion that's negative. Some teachers will call this the tone of the passage. We can designate the tone or the good stinky rule with these particular symbols. This will help us when we answer questions as well. Now, the part of the reason that we're following lessons 1, 2, 3, and 4 is we're trying to keep you engaged, trying to teach you how to read like a genius. A genius follows and pays attention to what's going on in the passage. They don't necessarily read every single word. So, this author's timeline, lesson number 4, tells us that we're engaged in the reading. When we have a topic sentence at the top, we expect to see details below. That's part of the timeline. The other thing is the timeline talks about how people usually write. Once again, is past background information moving into more present, then into the most present subject. This is very common. Let's go ahead. Get started with this particular called Furman the Extreme. We'll do a quick overview of this passage here. Furman likes to break records. In fact, over the years, Furman has broken 79 records. This is our topic sentence. It talks about a person named Furman who likes to break records. Now, using the timeline, we expect to have some background information about Furman and then progressively go from old information into more new information. Let's go ahead and see if that's true. His first feat, that's the first thing that we see here, was race walking with a hula hoop. He achieved this when he was 19. Background information. Then we progress to the timeline and see that Furman is now 25, progressing on and doing walking with bottles on the top of your head. Come over here. Shortly after that, shortly after 25, 19 to 25, and then shortly after that, he went and did a pogo stick thing in Japan. Next year, he will go to Germany and try and beat the bratwurst eating contest. So we go from the timeline talking about Furman, and then 1925, shortly after that, and then next year, you see it is flat out timeline. Let's jump on in and take a look at problem number 1. The author's timeline concept is basically a quick review, as we said before. It's past information or background, and then it will move into later information, which is a teeny bit more present, into even more present, and then into potentially having up-to-date or future information. That's the timeline. How you saw it there, we already went over that. Let's move on to problem number 2. Problem number 2, the main idea of this paragraph can be found from the topic sentence here. It's right here. Furman likes to break records. So we know the answer has to say something about this person breaking records. Let's go ahead. Process of elimination. Cross out answer choices that are wrong. A, the Guinness Book of World Records. That is what's called too narrow, kids. That does not come from the topic sentence. That comes from the details. It can be crossed out right away. Climbing Japan's Mount Fuji. That is true, but that is also a detail which is too narrow, not from the topic sentence. Cross it out. C, how to walk with a bottle on your head. First of all, it never teaches you how to do it, so that's going to be off topic. And second of all, walking with a bottle on your head is a detail, not from the topic sentence, and therefore it is too narrow. That can be crossed out for 2 reasons. D says Mr. Furman enjoys breaking records. That is basically a restatement of our topic sentence, and D is going to be the correct answer for it. Main idea questions usually are going to be restatements off your topic sentence. Problem 2 is D. 3, the Scooby-Doo technique. We're going to look for the word serenity. Let's go ahead and see where that comes from. It's down at the bottom here. Furman likes to break records. Here is a list of all the records that this person likes to break. It says Mr. Furman feels these activities bring him inner what? Inner what? Inner peace. That could be a word. Inner calmness. That could be another word as well. Also, inner satisfaction. All these words that you select here should have something to do using the good stinky rule with a positive tone. Another word that we could potentially use here, satisfaction, calmness, peace, gratification, and so forth. They're all going to be positive words here. Work on your vocabulary, kids. Number 4, which best reflects the author's attitude about breaking records? We know that breaking records, the author thinks that this is pretty cool. It's positive. We're going to have an answer choice that is going to be positive as well. Let's take a look at the answers, starting with A. Meaningless records are a waste of time. Meaningless is negative using the good stinky rule and can be crossed out. B. Even though the author may not attempt any records, he feels it's interesting. So first of all, the passage is informative. It gives you more information about Furman, and it sounds somewhat positive. So put a dot by that. I like that so far. Doesn't really say the author is going to break the records, but it says the author is interested. Why is the author interested? Because the author wrote a passage. It's self-evident. Answer choice C. Some of these records are dangerous, and it's unwise. Both of these words are negative answer choices, and it doesn't go with the theme of the good stinky rule, in particular with this passage. Cross that one out. D. Mr. Furman must be an amazing pogo stick rider. Well, that's true, but that doesn't really say anything about the attitude of breaking records. So this is a true statement, but it never answers the question. Never, never, never. Remember, the answer that's going to be the best one is going to be the one that directly deals with the question. That one is off topic. B. Even though the author may not attempt records, he feels it's interesting. B is the better answer choice for problem number 4. Let's scroll on down and take a look at problem number 5. 5. From this paragraph, you can conclude. Well, the conclusion down here. Overview of this passage. Furman breaks records. Here's a list of all the records in the author's timeline, and down at the bottom it says Furman likes to do this because it gives him inner serenity, makes him feel good. So what can you conclude about that? If it makes him feel good, he's probably going to do it again. Is that too far of a leap in the future? Let's go ahead and take a look at our answer choices. Process of elimination, cross out what you know is definitely wrong. Put a dot by the questions that potential answers that could work. Answer choice A. Asrita will break the bratwurst record in Germany. Well, it says he's going to attend the bratwurst eating contest, but it never says for sure. We don't know. That is assuming a lot. Cross that one out. B, Furman will break more records in the future. Well, if he likes to do it because it brings him inner serenity, then he's going to attempt to break more records. And you can assume that if he tries to break more records, he probably will, since he's already done 79. Let's put a dot by that one. C, someone will eventually beat the Fuji pogo stick record. Well, you can't really conclude that because it doesn't really have anything to do with Furman. So cross that one out. And D says Mr. Furman is from Japan. You can never conclude that. B is the answer choice that is going to work the best. Why? Because it deals with the conclusion. The conclusion says it brings inner serenity. And if it brings inner serenity, that makes him feel good. And if he feels good, he's going to do it again. If he tries to attempt another record, he probably will eventually break another record. Answer choice B for problem number 5. Let's go ahead and scroll on down. We'll take a look at problem number 6. Problem 6. In this paragraph, the word feet on line 3 most nearly means what? Let's Scooby-Doo this one. So we come over here. It says, topic sentence, Furman likes to break records. In fact, Furman set or broke 79 in the Guinness Book of World Records. His first feat, his feat is going to be a record attempt. So we're going to Scooby-Doo. What's another word for saying trying to break a record? Let's go ahead and take a look at the answer choices. Once again, kids, process of elimination tells us that we can cross out answer choices for sure that are wrong, and we put a dot by the ones that seem to work. We'll cross out a couple of them, and then we'll look at it a little closer after we go through here. Feet. What does feet mean? Feet. A says, what you walk on, your feet. No, that's a miss. F-E-E-T is your feet. That's wrong. B, broken records. Put a dot by that. C, accomplishments. Put a dot by that. And dangerous balancing acts. Dangerous is negative. And we need an answer choice that is going to be positive, so we can cross that one out. We can cross out 2 answer choices going through quickly. And now we're going to look at it a little bit closer. Broken records or accomplishments. Let's go back up. Take a look at the context of the passage. His broken records were race walking, or his accomplishments was race walking the fastest. Right away, when you kind of look at this, the context of it, the best answer choice is going to be answer choice C, accomplishments. On to 7. Using the good stinky rule, find a word in the paragraph that is either positive or negative. Tons of stuff in here, kids. Let's go back up here, and we're going to go through the passage and just basically label everything. First of all, you come up here, Furman likes. When you like something, that's going to be positive. Breaking records, that's going to be positive as well. Over the years, Furman set or broke more records. Set and breaking, that's positive as well. 79 records. His first feat. Feet, I feel like that's positive. Fastest, that's a positive word. He achieved, that's a positive word. Set a record, that's positive. Balancing, when you can balance something, that's positive. He was recorded. When you record something, that's usually positive. Only person, that's going to be positive. Championship, that's positive. And serenity, that is also going to be a positive word as well. Feels. The reason I'm saying feels is positive is because of all this other stuff. If this was all negative, the feeling would be negative as well. Let's go ahead and conclude. In this particular passage here, we have learned the author's timeline, past background information, and we move into something that's a little more current. further current, and then present day stuff, and then eventually at the bottom we're going to have future. So it will be past to future in the timeline. You know what? Let's go ahead and draw it like this. Since it is a line, we can think of it as, it's probably easier to understand, visualize. We've got past information, which is background, how it started and so forth, and then moving into future, and present would be somewhere in here. There you have it. It is lesson 4, homework number 1. Kids, we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.